Hey guys, tightrope here, bringing you another installment of Inside the War Room. Today we're going to be covering Ostheer's defensive commander. I think that this is one of the strongest ways to play Ostheer at the moment, and it's quite different to most of the other strategies around. So stay tuned and I hope you learn a lot. So the basic build order here is the MG42 into 3 Osttroopen with a fast tier 2 tech. Things are going really poorly for you in the early game, such as you lose control of your cutoff or your fuel for an extended period of time. Then you could go for a 4th squad Osttroopen to try and blend your way into the tier 2 tech a bit more smoothly, otherwise you could fall far too far behind waiting for your tier 2 vehicles to come online. So when it comes to starting the match, we're going to capture the fuel as quickly as possible. Because you don't have to build tier 1, you can get on the field very quickly with the strategy and start capturing the territory very quickly, which then ends up leading to a very fast tier 2 tech. And the fact that he didn't reply makes me think it's probably Burmie. So we're up against Burmie. He's a top 40 player, but he often takes some risks playing unconventional strategies, then ended up losing him some games. So after capturing the fuel on Vilshanka, I want to try and wire off these 2 pieces of heavy cover that are on the central VP, because there tends to be a lot of fighting in this area, and if you can deny the cover to your opponent, you're off to a great start. Note that I spot the conscripts in the middle with the pioneers' extended vision range, so I decide to disengage with them for the moment, wait until my machine gun is set up before re-engaging. So my machine gun is set in a really nice position here. I can capture the point, contribute at the fight in the middle VP, and it's very hard to flank in this position. Whilst the tactical map was open, I noticed the territory briefly flashing in the south, so I'm sending 2 Osttroopen down that way to deal with it.
Requested units have arrived.
Yeah, we'll try to take it.
We have to take that sector.
When it comes to the combat capabilities of Osttroopen, they have a 300% accuracy penalty when fighting from out of cover, so it's essential you use cover at all times, even if that means you need to slightly reposition here or there, and in the meantime you'll take some fire. Without cover, they are hopeless in combat. When it comes to outright strength, how they match up against other units, they'll beat the conscripts long range, but probably lose them close. So I've been a bit lazy with my machine gun positioning. I really should have been bringing it into a couple of these fights, but now I haven't, and I'm starting to get overwhelmed, so I've repositioned it to try and protect my cutoff.
Production upgrade accomplished.
So battle phase 1 is complete. I can now build tier 2. If my pioneers are in a really excellent position, they're going to need to continue fighting. I may consider building another squad of pioneers right now, just so I can start building my tier 2 as quickly as possible. And also they transition well with this build, because having 2 squads available to repair your light vehicles from tier 2 is also very strong. So I retreat my pioneers here to start building tier 2. They're already quite low in health, so they're not going to contribute much in a fight. And I already have quite a few forces in the north, so I feel like I can fight off these 2 conscripts that are up here without their help.
The enemy is taking our territory. The territory is out of contact.
One of the major benefits to Osttroopen is how quickly they reinforce, allowing me to get them back on the battlefield very rapidly after retreating. Yeah, I'm going for the 222 first. Against Soviets, I quite like double 222s because they can fight off the T-70 very effectively, and I'm expecting him to be going for a shock rifle build with the conscript start, so he's not going to have guards. Against guards you maybe would want the pools of lava from the Flamer half-track, and against Brits and US forces I generally do favour the Flamer half-track because I don't like the double 222 matchup against the AEC and the Stuart.
Our opponents are seizing a sector. Get us there, driver.
We'll try to take it.
Ah!
We have our orders. Man down. Territory increased.
We're moving inside.
Take us there, driver. Infantry is the target.
So generally you want to be driving your 222 point blank on the enemy infantry to maximize its damage output. However, in this case in the north, with two conscripts near each other, I'm going to play a little bit safe, try to keep my distance because you may take anti-tank grenades, and two anti-tank grenades combined with some small arms could end up taking out the 222, especially if it's already taken some damage from earlier engagements.
Punch it. Attacking infantry.
With this strategy, because you're not upgrading grenadiers with G43s and LMGs early to increase the anti-infantry strength, you're going to be relying on your light vehicles for that. You have more munitions spare to plant things like mines.
You need something? Scout car has arrived. Get us out of here! The bunker is now a field hospital. Move, driver, move! We are losing a sector.
Hilfiger. I don't know us. We're ordered to take it.
Waffenwagen is moving.
Pioneers up. Let's move it. Jawohl.
At this point I feel that it's slightly too early for his T-70 to be hitting the field, so I'm going to split my 222s up, force squads away from both sides of the map, try to take full advantage of this window. Though once the T-70 is on the field you need to have your 222s within at least striking distance of each other, and preferably with a squad nearby with the threat of a Faust.
Okay, we're going.
On the move. Yeah, yeah. Move orders received. We will eliminate the infantry.
Watching this back, I feel that I should have been more aggressive with my 222s. If they're not going to take anti-tank grenades, you need to really punish them for it. I decide to go for Panzer Grenadiers. I feel that I'm well set up and I'm not going to need an anti-tank gun to fight off the T-70. Also, Panzer Grenadiers match up pretty well with conscripts and can threaten a wipe if I do manage to get a flank off on his team weapons.
We're needed elsewhere. I don't know.
Panzer Grenadiers standing by. Scout car on out. Get us out of here!
Another benefit of Ostheer is how cheap they are. If you lose a few models going for a Faust on a T-70, it's no big deal, and also if they die, they're cheap to replace, and veterancy on them doesn't really matter as much, because you're not relying on them really for the anti-infantry duties, you're relying more on vehicles for that role. Losing their veterancy just doesn't matter as much as it does when you lose a grenadier. Oh boy, that was painful. 2 squads down and no repairs for my damaged engine 222. Things are looking rough for me here.
Ready for action. Let's go. First gear. Yeah, yeah. Taking enemy panzer fire!
He overextends and lets me get the Faust off, which secures the kill on the T-70. Very important and a lucky break for me. I'm not out of the weeds yet. You could rebuild the T-70 and even at the later timing it would still be extremely effective. With this commander though, you do have some build options. At 7 CPs, the Stug E unlocks. So I'm not going to rebuild the 222 in anticipation of fresh T-70 or to try and inflict more damage. If I do need a bit of a get out of jail free card or to extend my mid game, I can go for the Stug E. I decide to tech here. I expect that by the time I get to 7 command points I should still have enough fuel for one Stug E, and I want to get to battle phase 3 as quickly as possible to unlock the LMGs on the Ostheer and to get that tier 4 tech down, start working towards either a Panther or a Burmie.
Enemy is taking our territory. We are moving.
I'm using the MG42 to cap here in the south. The T-70 was still alive. This would be too risky because the extra pack up time before it retreats could result in a wipe.
Medium armor and rocket artillery is now available.
I keep my squad of Ostheer in the garrison despite knowing that it will be a losing engagement. Sometimes it's worth fighting a losing engagement if it will stall your opponent pushing back onto the map when you have superior map control.
The enemy is attempting to steal our sector. Our opponents are seizing a sector. Get us there, driver.
He produces a second T-70, but this is later than I was expecting. This may signify that he's low on manpower right now rather than fuel. It also suggests that he's not going to tick to tier 4, he's going to use this light vehicle to extend his control right now and then go for a call-in heavy tank. I go for a pack to help fight off the T-70 and I'm planning to get a Stug E as soon as it's available. That way it can help me against his team weapon play at the moment, which is really giving me some headaches. These maxims are hard to avoid right now. Stug E will also be able to fight the T-70 in a limited capacity. Another option here would be to back tech, get tier 1 out and then go for a mortar or a sniper team. That could also work against his team weapon play.
Geschütz version E is ready to deploy. That's here. Yeah, up and to the left. Incoming fire. Order. Scout car moving out. Go! Sturmgeschütz 3 version E on the field, Commander.
One of the real strengths of this Stug E is that it can fire from 50 range, a very safe distance. However, at this range, because the shell is quite slow, you can miss moving targets. Quite often, if I'm behind at this point, I'll go for a second Stug E and then back that up with a second pack. That gives me a very good mix of anti-infantry and anti-tank. One Stug E alone can be a little bit underwhelming against infantry, especially if it misses with those long range shots. In this case, I feel that I'm in a pretty good position. I've already completed Battle Phase 3, so I'm going to get my Tier 4 tech down and try get a Panther out in time to fight off his IS-2.
Squad moving out.
Enemy forces are securing our territory.
Ready as we'll ever be.
Scout car waiting. Let's go. Helicopter moving out. Tech 43 anti-tank guns are now available. We're fucked. The enemy has dealt us a blow.
While I'm microing my pack to try get the attack round to kill his T-70, I lose my 222 to his ZIS, but that's a trade I'm happy to take.
Seizing a sector.
Let's go visit the Burmie.
Fall back!
We're taking back fire.
Redeploying.
Advance.
Get this stuff moving.
Ready as we'll ever be. Listen up. We have moved borders. Fire! Fire! That doesn't kill.
Relocating. Make sure the travel is off, yeah?
Take it base.
It's retreat!
Pioneers ready for assignment. Anti-tanker firing on us!
The Stuggy is extremely powerful against buildings and can flatten even quite sturdy wooden buildings with just 2 shots if they land right. So if you see it coming and you're in a building, get the hell out of there.
Stormgeschütz displacing. Driver, that way. Moving. Assault gun firing.
As you can see, the Stuggy is quite bad at shooting at moving targets, so if you have the micro to spare, try using a tack round ahead of the target's movement. Because of the Stuggy's excellent range, I'm able to get a shot off and then reverse away before the ZIS is able to return fire.
Stormgeschütz on the move.
I'm putting a telemine in the exact same spot that he already swept. This can be an excellent mind game against your opponent. They'll think that the area is safe, but it is not. Here I'm trying to avoid the Stuggy destroying the building that has my machine gun inside of it, and that's a very real possibility given that I'm doing some crush damage as I try to get around it, and with the shock troops so close to it, and the Stuggy's big AoE against buildings could very easily flatten it here, so I'm trying to be very, very careful. Oh boy. Uh-oh. Oh, I'm stuck on this. This was a close call. If I didn't have a squad to stop the ZIS from chasing around the house, I would have lost my Stuggy. Though I did the right thing here. I moved my Stuggy from the top of the map to the bottom of the map. I saw the ZIS last in the top. So generally you want to take advantage of your vehicle's high mobility, much faster than the ZIS, and rotate from side to side of the map, try and catch your opponent off guard and make sure that their team weapons are in the wrong spot at the wrong time.
Yes?
The enemy is attempting to steal our sector.
I go for a second MG42 to help hold the line. It currently matches up pretty well against his army, which only has a ZIS gun barrage as a form of indirect fire, and if his unset up Maxims run into my setup MG42s, my setup guns will win the fight. It does have shock troops, but now that the grenades are back on the shared cooldown, they're not quite so scary when using a machine gun.
Brooklyn ready. Fucking Ivan never quits.
On our way.
Ready.
Get that prepared immediately. We cannot win here!
We are losing a sector.
Ready as we'll ever be. I don't know. But keep your heads
It is imperative that I get my tier 4 tech down. I'm just hitting 12 command points, meaning my opponent is very likely close behind, and that means the IS-2 will be hitting the field in no time, and I need my Panther out to counter it.
Move to the rear! We have a target. Let's go.
Blown up.
Notice how well my machine guns are doing and helping me maintain map control right now. That was definitely the right build option. Another option could have been to go for a extra squad of Panzer Grenadiers and try to outmaneuver and outflank his machine guns, though now that he's got 3 on the field, that would have been a tall task. If I wasn't so close to the Panther, I'd go for a second pack here to try and prepare for the incoming IS-2. The Pack 43 is not really a good option against this commander. The incendiary artillery decrews it way too easily, though it can be pretty good against the Pershing commander, which is quite often without a good off-map. A little more fuel to the Panther. I'm anticipating that he is going for a IS-2. I hadn't built any sandbags or trenches yet with my Osttrooper because they unlock at 2 command points rather than immediately, so that does kind of limit the impact of them. But now is a great time to do it to help hold the line and hunker down against his incoming IS-2. Heavy tanks are much slower, and you can often hear them moving through the fog of war, making your AT gun positioning very easy against them.
The enemy is taking our territory. The Panther has arrived from the fatherland.
Fuck.
The sector has been cut off.
The IS-2 gets baited over the replanted telemine, and the Panther arrives just in time to mop it up. Overall, this went very smoothly for me after it looked shaky and I lost my pack. I dropped sector artillery. It can be quite hard to use because you can only activate it in friendly territory, though it is quite powerful. However, you do tend to have quite a lot of munitions with this commander, and because this artillery is quite hard to use, I must stress again, plant a lot of mines if you have the spare time. With his IS-2, AT gun, and most likely this conscript squad down, my opponent decides to throw in the towel. So that's how I'm playing the defensive commander these days. I generally don't make use of the upgraded bunkers. I feel that they're more suited to team games. I think that this strategy may actually be the strongest for Ostheer at the moment in 1v1s. If not, then certainly in the top 3. It helps you get through the tough early stages of the game. It seems to be like a never-ending onslaught at the moment, especially from US forces. Let's go like rifles into lieutenant, or maybe they get the WC-51 out and it's just non-stop pushing you off the map, and the Ostheer light vehicles just can't seem to stand up to it. You know, the fast M20 into Stuart really bullies Ostheer at the moment. Similar situation, the T-70 is very tough to deal with, and so is the AC. So overall, it's just like a light vehicle power town for Ostheer, But I feel like this strategy with the stronger early map presence and the possibility to go for multiple light vehicles to overwhelm your opponent's light vehicles really helped turn the tide. So that's it guys, I hope you have a better understanding now of how to play the defensive commander. I think it is very strong and I hope you try it out. I may do this commander again covering a different faction matchup if the right game comes along, but until then, goodbye and good luck. A special thank you to my Patreon backers and donators that help make these videos possible.